I grabbed a crow perched on the pile of corpses, then slowly crawled out from the mound of dead bodies. The arrow stuck through my chest was actually a soft arrow I made myself. As a veteran on the battlefield, I often pretended to be a corpse and scavenged supplies from the dead. That's how I've survived again and again. Soon, Id filled up an entire cart. But then I spotted two generals locked in combat in the distance. As a soldier of Liang, I didn't step in to help. I simply watched my own general fall. I happily picked up his weapon and walked forward, tied up the enemy general, and loaded him onto my cart. As I traveled, I hummed a cheerful tune, because bringing this enemy general back to Liang would earn me 5 acres of good land and exempt me from military service, finally letting me live a peaceful life. Suddenly, the road ahead was blocked by huge boulders. I walked up to move them, but through my legs I spotted a man charging at me with a knife. I quickly lifted a rock to block him, circling the cart as we fought, but he still managed to stab me in a vital spot. Turned out he was a deserter too. He told the general our army had been wiped out last night. The general suspected he was a spy and cut him down without hesitation, then lay on the ground waiting to die. But just after he breathed his last, I suddenly stood back up again, still holding that half bag of unused fake blood. The general stared at me in shock, wanting to avoid disgrace. All he wanted now was a quick death. Seeing how determined he was, I tossed him a dagger so he could end things himself, then sat down and drank. The general hesitated for a long time before picking up the dagger, slowly pressing it into his chest, letting out a painful scream. But the agony he expected never came. He looked up in confusion and saw the dagger had a spring in it. He wanted to die, but I wasn't about to let him. I strapped the general back onto the cart and set out again. Passing through a small town, I hoped to find an inn to rest, but years of war had left nothing behind. All I found was a terrified woman. I shared some food with her, and after eating, she happily began to dance. I drank while watching her, and realized it was the most peaceful moment I'd had in 10 years of war. When I woke the next morning, the woman was gone, and so were all my supplies and the war horse. I collapsed, screaming in frustration, stranded in the middle of nowhere, with no horse. I couldn't travel at all, with no other choice. I threw the general over my shoulder onto the cart, tied the ropes around myself, and dragged the cart forward like a horse.